Hi, it's Gene, retired in Mexico. And if you're new to the channel, we ask one question here, which is, do they write them and sing them like they used to? Now, a lot of people, young and old, they think the old music is better, but I'm not so sure. And today, instead of celebrating the music of the 21st century, which is what we normally do here, we're flipping the script a little bit and taking some pot shots at the pop charts of the 1970s with our worst song tournament, 64 songs like an NCAA bracket. And this is the final episode of the second round. So after this, we'll be on the Sweet 16. So let's jump into it. Today is going to be Think, which is a American studio band. Not a lot of information about them on Wikipedia. And then we're going to put that up against Carl Douglas, Kung Fu Fighting. Carl Douglas was born in Kingstown, Jamaica, lived briefly in California, and then moved to England as a teenager, and that's where he got his start. And then we'll do Andrew Gold, Lonely Boy. Andrew Gold, rest in peace. He was from Los Angeles and was a arranger for Linda Ronstadt and others before he went solo. And then we'll close it out with Paper Lace, a band from Nottingham, England, which is the where the legend of Robin Hood started. I've done it's the Night Chicago Died, a made-up song about Al Capone and Chicago during the bootlegging era. So that's it. Let's go ahead and get into these four songs. I will do them in pairs and then take what I think is relatively the worst song, advance it in the tournament. And here we go. Here's Think, Once You Understand.
Things get a little easier once you understand. Things get a little easier.
I'll be expecting you to get a haircut by Friday.
Forget it, Dad. That won't change anything.
Forget nothing. You'll do as I say as long as you're living in my house.
Things get a little easier once you understand. Things get
He knows I'm not feeling well, and yet he doesn't take 1 second out to help his mother. His only concern is for himself.
Come on, Ma. What do you want from me?
Don't argue with your mother. Just shut up and listen.
But Mom, all my friends will be there.
I said no, can't go.
But why?
I don't want you in that neighborhood.
Why? What's wrong with that neighborhood?
I don't like the kind of people living there.
What's wrong with them?
Never mind. And someday you'll thank me. Where are you going now?
To my friend's house.
Don't you have things to do in the house? Don't you have any homework? Why don't you sit down and read a book?
Oh, Ma.
Don't go, Mom. You're wasting your life away with foolish things.
What are you talking about? How about your bridge club and your ladies groups and your parties and your daytime programs? What about all that?
That's different.
Hey, Dad, did you see my new guitar? I joined a group.
Son, there's a little bit more to life than joining a group or playing the guitar.
Yeah, Dad? What is there to like? Right.
Once you understand.
Right.
Things get a little easier once you understand. 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 Things get a little easier once you
Mr. Cook,
Yes?
do you have a son named Robert? Robert Cook, age 17.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cook. You better come down to the station house. Your son is dead.
Dead? How?
He died of an overdose.
Oh my God.
Things get a little easier once you understand. Things get a little easier Once you understand, things get a little easier. Once you understand.
Go on to the next song.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. But they fought with expert timing. There were funky Chinamen from funky Chinatown. They were chopping them up. They were chopping them down. It's an ancient Chinese art, and everybody knew their part. From a fainting to a slip and a kicking from the hip, everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. Yeah. But they fought with expert timing. There was Funky Billy Chin and Little Sammy Chung. He said, "Here comes the big boss. Let's get it on." We took a bow and made a stand. Started swaying with the hand. A sudden motion made me skip. Now we're into a brand new trip. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. But they did it with expert timing. Oh yeah. Keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on. Keep on, keep on, keep on. Yeah, yeah. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Hands and feet, fast as
So I read that this song by Carl Douglas had not done well on the pop charts, and then it kind of became a surprise club hit, and then it got a resurgence, and so people liked dancing to this. Is it offensive? Talking about Chinamen and so forth? Yeah, a little bit. I don't think it's aged entirely well. It's of its time. But it has a killer bass line and it has those awesome rhythm guitars in it. It's well produced and it's danceable. I think this is an easy one. The song Once You Understand by Think, that's just hard to listen to. That's, a song about the generation gap and the guys crying at the end. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's that song I really don't care for. This Carl Douglas is kind of fun. I enjoy it. And like I say, there's some aspects of it that maybe are dated or haven't aged well, but compared to the Once You Understand, which has all that narration and I don't know, just don't care for that song. Crass, I guess, is a word I would use, but that's my opinion. Oh, and I forgot to say, this is for fun. Yeah, this is for fun, and these are just my opinions. So leave it at that. And I've done a deep dive into the lyrics on these. So we're going to go ahead and advance the band Think. And now we'll do Andrew Gold and Paper Lace. And yeah, like I say, I've looked at the lyrics on these. They probably will be an ad either immediately here or after the Andrew Gold. So if so, I'll edit that out.
Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a very nice audience. Lynn will be out in a minute.
I think I got the right version this time. I did a re-recording by accident last time.
He was born on a summer day, 1951. And with the slap of a hand, he had landed as an only son. His mother and father said, what a lovely boy. We'll teach him what we learn. Oh yes, just what we learn. We'll dress him up warmly and we'll send him to school. It'll teach him how to fight to be nobody's fool. Oh, what a lonely boy. Oh, what a lonely boy. Oh, what a lonely boy. In the summer of 53, his mother brought him a sister. And she told him, we must attend to her needs. She's so much younger than you. Well, he ran down the hall and he cried. Oh, how could his parents have lied when they said he was an only son? He thought he was the only one. Goodbye, Mama. Goodbye to you. Hey. Goodbye, Papa. I'm pushing on through. She left home on a winter day, 1969. And he hoped to find all the love he had lost in that earlier time. Well, his sister grew up and she married a man. He gave her a son, oh yes, a lovely son. They dressed him up warmly, they sent him to school. It taught him how to fight to be nobody's fool. Oh, what a lonely boy. Oh, what a lonely boy. Oh, what a lonely boy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, what a lonely boy. Oh, what a lonely boy. Oh, what a lonely boy.
I've got the correct version of this song, too.
Daddy was a cop on the east side of Chicago, back in the USA, back in the bad old days. In the heat of a summer night, in the land of the dollar bill, when the town of Chicago died, and they talk about it still. When a man named Al Capone tried to make that town his own, and he called his gang to war with the forces of the law. I heard my mama cry, I heard her pray the night Chicago the battle rang through the streets of the old east side, till the last of the hoodlum gang had surrendered up or died. They were shouting in the street and the sound of running feet, and I asked someone who said about 100 cups a day. I heard my mama cry, I heard her pray the night Chicago died. Brother, what a night it really was. Brother, what I thought it really was. Glory be. I heard my mama cry, I heard her pray the night Chicago died. Brother, what a night the people saw. Brother, what a night the people saw. Yes, indeed. Then there was no sound at all but the clock upon the wall. Then the door at Chicago died. The night Chicago died. Brother, what a night the people saw. Brother, what a night the people saw.
So, yeah. So, the objection to both of these, probably the lyrics. So on Lonely Boy, he's 2 years old, and then he gets a new baby sister, and he's jealous, and she ruins his life because he's not an only child anymore. And yeah, it's just kind of like, really? Really? That's all you could come up with for a song? And then this one here by Paper Lace, which, by the way, I listened to, I read that Paper Lace actually recorded Billy Don't Be a Hero first, and it became a #1 hit in the UK. And then contractually, they couldn't come stateside and perform the song. So Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods picked it up and they recorded it and they made it a hit in the US. So I played their version, and it's not very good either. Maybe slightly better than the Bo Donaldson, but yeah, it's just kind of a weird song. And that one's still in the tournament, Billy Don't Be a Hero. So, yeah, lyrically, yeah, this one here, just 100 cops dead, it's just made up. They were a bunch of guys from England. The songwriters, they didn't write the song, and the night Chicago died, but the two guys who wrote it said they'd never even been to Chicago. They talk about the east side, and I read that there isn't even a east side in Chicago. That's where Lake Michigan is. So, yeah, this is just kind of a silly song. But so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about him musically, and that Andrew Gold, I mean, it's got killer piano and a great guitar solo in it. It's in that Southern California mold. And I just happen to think that Warren Zevon, that's who that song reminds me of, does a better job with this kind of material. But I don't hate that Andrew Gold. It's really well recorded and well played probably with session musicians. And by contrast, the Paper Lace, you got those na 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 nas in there and all that. So I just don't think it's as good a song musically. I don't think the singer's quite as good. So we'll go ahead and advance the Paper Lace. I think it's a pretty easy choice. If I did the 10 song rule, I'd rather listen to Lonely Boy 10 times than The Night Chicago Died 10 times in a row. That I would be more likely to scream at the end of this last song. So we'll advance Paper Lace. So that's it. We're in the Sweet 16. And thanks for joining me. And if you like what I'm doing, hit that like or subscribe button. And as we say here in Bonita, Mexico, buen dia.